Oh, you're on mute, sir.
This thing is giving me cha-cha trouble, but what is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, and I host the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Care. It is also co-sponsored by Dad Central. I'm getting a little bit of feedback here, but I think it's gone now. And through that collaboration, I've been able to reach out this year so far to over 75,000 fathers around the world. I'm very humbled about that. And I am the board chair for the Global Food and Drink Initiative, which is a multimedia not-for-profit that showcases Blacks in the diaspora that are doing their thing in food, wine, and travel. And I'm joined by the media man, Ryan Knight.
Yes, doing my posts, making sure people know what's going on.
All right. Do they know what time it is?
For those that don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, rocking my new African Redemption, the life and legacy of Marcus Garvey's shirt, which is so important because the gentleman, actually, I think it's on my back. Does you see on my back? Roy
T. Anderson. Yeah.
Roy T. Anderson. We need to support this brother to make sure we can get this message of Marcus Garvey's legacy. Well, I feel like it's already worldwide, but I digress. So the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, we work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage to make sure and figure out what stage they're in today and help them create a blueprint to exponentially grow their companies. I also run a business called Detailing Nights. We provide mobile waterless car cleaning, going to people's houses and their offices, cleaning their cars on the spot. And shout out to, one of the newest entrepreneurs.
Oh,
Taj created his flyer.
Nice.
Handing out.
Nice.
So if you're in Brampton, be sure to book your appointment. November will be kind of the last month. So get that car clean before winter, and then we'll touch base in spring after winter.
Well, you know what? We're already having a good morning vibe because we have two amazing people who are watching us live this morning. One is Ryan Singh.
Excellent. Hey, shout out to Ryan. You got to see him at the screening.
Had you met him before that?
Yeah, we usually bump into each other at First Fridays every now and again.
Okay. And also Roger Dundas is with us, him and his wonderful wife, Camille, the driving force behind BuyBlacks.com, the most viewed African Canadian website in the world. And they're getting ready to launch their second Buy Blacks Restaurant Week, which starts next week. So a week from today, Roger Dundas is scheduled to be on the Morning Vibe and going to talk about Restaurant Week. And actually, I had mentioned it yesterday on my Black Canada Talking show. I visited one of the participants in Black Restaurant Week, Buy Blacks Restaurant Week, Mob Seafood yesterday. And
this guy gets a head start on us, didn't even
Well,
Share the food.
I had to, and they were in Scarborough, and I'm in Scarborough,
Yes.
so it was no use saying I had to go get my passport in Brampton and pick it up in her place. I went there and had some great shrimp poutine. I did a very short, and it's crazy. I don't do IG lives a lot because obviously I do a lot on these type of platforms. But whenever I do an IG live and it involves me eating food, I don't get it. I don't mind it, but I don't like people love having me eat food and critique food. So maybe I'm gonna become Canada's next Guy Fieri.
Hey, pitch that to what's it called? Food Network. There's a specific Food Network Canada, right?
There's a Food Network Canada, but so that was a great experience. I had a good chance to chat with Monique and was still pushing her, saying, what do you need help with? And she says, I need some staff for the new year. I said, okay, well, let's talk and see if you can get some, even Canada. She wasn't even aware of Canada's Summer Students Grant. She wasn't even aware of that.
You see it? Okay.
Wasn't
they
even
need to watch the show.
Yeah, well, we got to, and
these things.
Yeah, she wasn't even aware of that, but looking forward to Buy Black's second restaurant weekend. I know that according to Roger, I'm going to be doing some IG interviews with some different vendors this time. Sad, I missed my sugarcane restaurant, those three sisters who are amazing. My mom seafood, but she's going to be out here every weekend in Scarborough for the rest of the month, and also Colin from Gospel Cafe Express. There's a Jerk Express, or I can't get right.
Jerk Express.
DC Jerk Express. So looking forward to their participation and whole other. I see some new ones on board too. So keep a watch. Go to buyblackscott.com and all the information is there. I'm rambling. Sorry.
No, and I believe so. Roger should be joining us next Monday.
A week from today. Ryan is putting the message up here. Roy Sanderson, from the stunt performer to filmmaker, documenting Jamaica and heritage through film. Ryan, I know in the back channels you've been reaching out. We need to get him on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let Ryan can definitely make that connection. So yeah, let's see if he can get on and talk about what the next chapter is for African redemption.
Yeah. Ryan Singh is going, Dr. Vibe has been wanting that food a lot. Yeah, I miss my mom. See, I miss, like, I highly anticipate restaurant week because I get to do some good eating. So that's what it's all about. So we're chopping it up a little bit today. If there's any specific things that anyone wants us to chat about live, please make a comment in your comment section on whatever platform you're watching, and we'll certainly take a chop at it or look at it. Ryan, you were talking about something interesting about number of seats in federal parliament, education.
I was actually on the Buy Black's website, and so I was seeing, like how many people wanted to or won in the election this past one. I was like, there's 8. Okay, I'm curious how many actual people have, or how many seats do we actually have federally? And there's 338. I thought to myself, is 8 out of 338 good? Do we consider this progress? Are we making any real dent in federal politics? And I've seen a lot of the victory speeches and everybody talking about, success of the Black candidates. But are we really trained, like getting ready to be impactful in our elections and ready to actually take a bigger step in politics? And so I started thinking, what's missing? Is it not enough people are interested? Oh man, I'm not even sure.
So here's a question that I have for you.
Actually, give me 1 sec. School's calling.
Okay, no problem. So school's calling for Ryan. So hey, family is more important than any sort of morning vibe show we do. So just want to make sure that everything's going on right with his kids or his children on the school end. I have a question, and I'm gonna see if Ryan will come back, but I'll ask everyone here: should Black Canadians put their energies in the political arena or the economic arena? Should we put our energies politically or economically, or a combination of both? So I'm waiting for Ryan to come back. And for me, I think we should put probably a little bit more energy economically, because yes, people say politics, but politics is both. Okay, Christopher Lawrence is saying both. I think economically, because, and I'm not saying leave out the political end, but political campaigns are run by money. It's no person really wins a campaign these days without the money. DJ Renard is saying both. Okay. I think a little bit more should be in the economics thing, because just my opinion alone, this is just me, we live in a capitalistic democracy. And capitalism, ownership, finances have more weight than anything else. Looks like Ryan's everything okay?
Yeah. It was actually just the vice principal checking in for parent council. I thought it might be kids issue.
Okay. So I was putting it out to the audience. Based on your comments, should Black Canadians put more energy into economics, into politics, or both? And we've got some answers here. Christopher saying more economics. DJ Renard, both. And my reasoning here, I think a little bit more weight maybe economically, because how many political campaigns are won without money?
Absolutely. Well, so what I'm curious about is these 8 that won, who's training the next to win another? So who from those 8 are taking time to now train people that are interested in politics to be able to win in other seats? So I need to look back and see, let's say over the last 10 elections, how many were Black victors, and then how many of them trained the next? Because if we've gone from, let's say just over the last 10, from 0 to 8, and that might be approx 30 to 40 years, that is a terrible ratio. Like we should be way further along.
Well, I think a lot of factors go into that. And I'd like to thank everyone who's chiming in. Like, this is great numbers for a Monday morning. This is fantastic. So just resetting the conversation today, Morning Vibe, Dr. Vibe, Ryan Knight, and we're here actually Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. If we get people to sponsor us, we'll do more. and we're just having a conversation here. And please put in your comments, should Black Canadians put their energies more into economics, politics, both? And then Ryan, you've thrown in another monkey wrench into the conversation. And it's interesting. This is something that comes up a lot with nonprofit organizations in the Black environment. I'm not saying your C word, Black environment, about succession planning. Like, is there a plan to at least maintain, and even more to increase representation of Black Canadians in the political realm? And you have to remember too, Ryan, the majority of Black Canadians live in major city centers, your Toronto, your Montreal, your Vancouver, the Halifax area. So the question is, and what is their spread in those areas in regards where are they living? Because I can only speak for the GTA. I know that there's a lot of individuals that live in the Durham region. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Black Canadians, the highest concentration of Black Canadian population in Canada is in the Durham region.
You see that?
And so Selena,
there should be more
Cesar Chavons was the last she was a representative in that area. No longer. She didn't run in this most recent election. So just putting it out there. Now, Christopher has a question, and DJ Renard saying, yes, agree that the focus should be more economic. Christopher Lawrence saying, another variable we could look at is how many persons are even interested in running in the political arena. I think the majority of people who I chat to who look like me, when they say, would you like to run in politics? You don't want to hear the first word they tell me.
We should actually have a running tally of that, because Operation Black Vote should be tracking and maybe even training who is interested in running, and then what training do they need to run effectively. And then we should be able to say, is like, hey, these 50 potential candidates are preparing themselves, because they really should be starting from now. It's like, we know an election will be called, let's say, within 3 to 4 years. You can't just pick up a year before or 3 years from now and say, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna run. What do I do? Like, no, you need to be starting that groundwork now.
Yes.
So who's helping them do that? And if we don't even know who's interested, clearly we can't start supporting them in any way to make a proper run.
Absolutely.
And then to look at how many people did run and lose, we'd have to say, like, is 8 out of the total number of people that actually ran another good percentage. There was a few candidates here in Brampton, at least 2.
We interviewed one.
Yes. And no, 3. Well, Danielle, she was in Brampton, and then she went to York Simcoe, and then she was unsuccessful. The 2 here in Brampton, one NDP and one Conservative, both were unsuccessful. So there's an element missing of, I don't want to call it planning, like pre-planning, but being able to support candidates in the best way possible is missing that pre-work. Like, whatever we have to do to start building the foundation is missing.
Got it. So DJ Renard is saying the largest concentration of Black Canadian homeowners are in the Durham region. There you go.
Right.
Jay Cookingham, have not heard from you in a minute. Jay, hope all is fine with you. From don't know exactly where you're located in the States, but thanks. And he's saying training, equipping, mentoring, all huge. Fully agree.
That's it. And then, so if that's missing, and that's what I guess I think of Operation Black Vote. So based on your own mandate, this is what you have said that you want to work on, getting more Black representation into politics. So where is the training? How are they equipping them? What was the last thing that Jay said? I think it was training,
equipping, mentoring.
And then that goes to the ones that have won and have been successful, and maybe even been successful in the past that are now retired. What are they doing to really train and groom the next crop of potential politicians? Because I was looking at the mandate letters for all of the different ministers, and then it dawned on me that there's no Minister of Black Affairs. There's Minister of Indigenous Affairs. I think there's something else, like there's 2 Indigenous focused ministers, and there isn't one for the Black community. So before we get these Black entrepreneurship programs, before we get a Black endowment fund, we should actually set up the office that is going to focus on working for the Black community. When that doesn't exist, then it kind of gets slotted into all these other ministries. We have a Black procurement pilot that's kind of slotted in the minister. I think it was Anita Anand before, and then now it's somebody else. Like, it's kind of on the side of their desk. It's not their focus. The Black Entrepreneurship Program is in the Minister of Business with Minister Ng. And if you look at her mandate letter, there is one paragraph about the Black community. That, to me, is not good enough, because when you look at the Minister of Indigenous Affairs, that entire mandate is about Indigenous affairs. The Black community is missing that. And I have not heard that from anybody that's currently sitting as an MP in the Black community or work. Well, actually, I think Elle had mentioned that there should be a specific section of the government, but we're talking about, because that goes more to like infrastructure. What is actually built in or designed into the system to be able to support our community better? If it's not there, we're always going to be an afterthought.
Okay. Well, you know what? The comments are flying this one, and this is fantastic, because before we came online, we didn't know what we were going to chat about. Right? We had no idea. Like 3 monkeys. Our lips were sealed. We didn't know what we were going to chat. So Ryan threw something out, and people know once I hear a good idea, I don't wait. Bang, bang, bang. So let's get to some more questions here. This is great. Tim Frasing, and hope all is well, Tim. And thanks, Tim, for jumping into my conversation I host on last Saturday night, State of Things with Isha and Jill. They appreciated your comments, by the way. There are launch pads for multiple sectors in our community: sports, tech, and arts. Is there a launch pad for developing Black politicians?
Operation Black Vote, take down a note.
So
that's a good point.
There is an organization called Operation Black Vote. And I'm going to be honest. I'll be honest. I did invite them on during the last election, and about a day before, they said that, we can come on. How much time? I said, well, we usually go for an hour, but whatever you can give me, give the audience, we'll do it. They never responded. I'll leave it at that.
And I do want to give a quick shout out to Danielle Dowdy again, because she was part of the JCA, the Jamaican Canadian Association, and they did a series called So You Think You Can Run. And I know recently she had been doing some workshops, but again, she works full time for Police Foundation.
Yeah.
Her hobby is teaching people about politics. This needs to be a specific launching pad.
Can you work on getting Ms. Dowdy on here, please?
Yes.
Please. Tell her, can she take a tour stop and just stop by whatever time she has? And like I said, I've only met her once. Really nice lady, but I know her wealth of knowledge would be so helpful to many of us. So let's go to and Tim, great launch pad for sports tech, but nothing in politics. Very good point. Next up, we got Christopher Lawrence. A large setback in running for politics is you need a minimum of $100,000. So I think the strategy behind this is, I don't know the process, hence why folks may not be bothered or interested. Maybe there can be a politic pre-work class, seminar, or programs. Well, we just mentioned that with Daniel Dowdy says, and again, the $100,000 cuts a lot of people off right there.
Very true. But this is where, instead of, let's say there's 10 candidates that are running on a $20K budget, should those 10 candidates now come together and say, who is the best of us that we can help get elected? And we'll put our collective weight and networks behind this person to help them raise between 100 to 200,000 and have an effective run. So instead of 10 mediocre campaigns, we have 1 or 2 solid, high percentage of victory campaigns. And then we get an additional 2 people in instead of 10 losses. Hey, I'm just spitballing. I don't know how to even start that conversation with different candidates, because everybody has their own reasons for running. And if you look at everybody's campaign, they feel like they're going to win. But when you actually look at the numbers, the percentage of the probability of success is low. So how do we increase that probability?
Well, but see, then there's also other variables, that the non-financial variables you got to take into account too. First of all, your life is an open book.
Oh, yes.
Right. Right. Past, present, open book.
Right.
That's another thing. 2, if you have a family, good luck. Your family life gets totally changed.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's a number of variables, and plus towing the party line.
Yeah, and that's where party politics is interesting, because it's almost like you're picking a side, because when you pick a certain team, you now absorb all of their not their mandates, but their like philosophy, like everything that they stand for. Now you have to stand for. So the good and the bad. So it's like you're going to be out there promoting the good, but you also have to defend the bad. So are you willing to sign up for that? Like,
well, yeah, and we want to also take a look. So two recent Black Canadian politicians, and it's interesting how things have gone on. Again, Selena Savard-Chavon's having that major blow up with Prime Minister Trudeau. She quit. She left. And then look at a Greg Fergus. Greg Fergus has done so much for Black Canadians. And a lot of people are going, why did he not get a cabinet seat? Like, there's a very interesting article about Greg Ferguson.
Right.
This column saying, look at all the things he's done for the Liberal Party when it comes to getting Black Canadians on board and all the stuff, leading the Black Canada Caucus, etc. I've heard he's no longer leading the Black Canada Caucus. This is what
Marcy Ian took that title too.
I don't know about that.
Like who?
I don't know about that. But that's the thing that.
Oh man!
I think that's why a lot of people look, let alone a lot of people who don't look like us, don't want to do politics.
Mm.
It's not it's a vicious game. It can be a potentially vicious game. You really got to understand, because it's not for the weak-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Well, and that's where, if you look at his track record, it would have been a very interesting move to create that Minister of Black Affairs and then put him at that post. He's been running the Black Caucus. He was one of the
he's done so much. I mean, so much.
But then, so that question that you asked, like, why was he skipped? What, like, Marcia Ian totally skipped the line, and she's technically a rookie in the Liberal Party now, and she's getting like all these accolades.
I won't get into it too much, but you know, I told you a long time ago, back channel wise, watch.
Mm-hmm. True.
And so it's no surprise that Marcian is now a cabinet minister. She has a lot to offer the Liberal Party. And I'll make it short. First of all, Black woman. Mm-hmm. Second of all, woman. Second of all, women. Many women like her. Mm-hmm. She has many years of media presence. So she knows media. And you can tell that a lot of people in politics do not like talking to the media. So right. She's a very smart lady, very, very, very good at what she does. So I like I said, the day that I saw she was running, I said, it's only a matter of time. You know, only a matter of time.
Like, does it become she's the replacement for Selena? Where it's like,
that's a whole other conversation. We'll see what happens. That's a whole other conversation.
That's what it looks like on the surface. It's like, okay, it's like a stopgap. It's like, oh, we have a gap in our party. We need to fill it with something. And hey, she's a great candidate because she has a lot of variety, and
she has a lot of assets. That's what assets. Let's get back to some of our comments here. Hayden Moore says, I understand the question, but it could be perceived as a false choice, even though that's not your intent. Absolutely should be both, with finance as the lead. Okay. Sophia Jacob from Ottawa, there needs to be a foundation of support around candidates. Absolutely. Again, support and candidate is very key. Co-opetition, Christopher Lawrence.
Yes. Doug Minter's line.
Yes. I agree with Ryan. The collective support is more effective. Absolutely. And then Christopher asks, do you think to obtain more political traction, one should remain municipal first? Good point.
Well, that's where it's like, when we talk about building a foundation, what are the elements of that foundation? If you're going to be running in a specific riding, how do you get people to know you? Right now, when I watch how candidates run their campaigns, you literally hear nothing. Okay, I'm using like Brampton, for example. So there were two candidates from the Black community. One, I feel like, did get his name out. He had run for different things before. And then the other, I'd never heard this person's name before. So now so they pop up, say, yes, I'm going to put my hat in the race. But it's like, okay, but you have to educate us on who you are first. And then, like Christopher was saying, maybe that starts with municipal. Maybe you run trustee.
Yeah, a lot of things happen. A lot of things are very key at the municipal level.
Absolutely.
No, here's a perfect example. Someone who's gone through the ranks. Oh, why am I forgetting his name now? He's now he was an Ontario minister, Ontario government. What's his name? Oh, and now he's in federally. Don Mills area. Michael Coteau, exactly.
Yes.
Michael Coteau seems that he's done the right way, that he was a representative, I think actually started off municipally, then
trustee even.
Trustee, yes, he was a trustee.
Yeah.
Then he became became a provincial minister, or responsible for blacks in Ontario,
right,
for the Black Youth Education, Black Youth Action Plan.
Yes.
And I think he also was a minister. I'll check
on provincial. Yeah,
the provincial. And now he won in the most. Yeah, he was. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ryan. And now he is in the federal government.
And so if you look at that body of work, you realize he became very serious like it didn't just happen the year that the election was happening. This is a body of work to say, and he's very open to like come and speak and talk about like his journey. So if people had questions, they could definitely go to him. But it'd be great to see like a formalized way that he could mentor others that are thinking of running and where to start, and then if based on where you want to get to,
and actually I think that's another person we should keep our eye on to see what the future holds for him, because with his depth of experience politically, he has gone through the course. So it'll be very interesting to see what the future holds for him, Mr. Couture. And I knew him before he got into politics. I knew Michael.
Nice.
Same thing with Selena. I knew Selena before she got into politics. I actually interviewed her and her husband separately on the show years ago. So that's how far back we go back here on the Dr. Vibe show. But yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting to see what Michael Couture, what his future is going to be federally. I potentially see some big things for him. Big things.
Absolutely. That's great.
Some big things. So that is good. So what, anyone else have comments today? They were flying in. And just to say hi, Jake Cookingham is in New York. So we have an international conversation going on today. I think that also when it comes to the whole political thing, I still think the economics we've got to make sure it's either equal or a little bit more of the driving force, because again, can't run a campaign without the money.
Well, and that's where, when I talk about infrastructure, being able to pool the dollars needed for a person to run, because just asking for donations from your own inner network will only get you so far. And we've seen that with the different candidates that run on a very lean budget because their fundraising, I don't want to call it a fundraising plan, but their process of fundraising isn't as robust as it needs to be. So there should be a pool of funds. And that's where I guess it comes down to the economic side. What are the economic players doing to support candidates? Is that outside of their scope? Should the BBPA, should the Black Opportunity Fund, should Black North Initiative,
so here you go now.
We have to connect what economics is doing to political. We also have to connect it to social. So what are we purposefully doing to create that pool that we can say, hey, maybe 10 candidates, it's a pitch competition. Maybe West Hall can run the political Dragon's Den for the Black community and say, hey, bring us 10 candidates for each region. And the one that has we do our own elections before the election. I think we had talked about this. So we know who's interested, who's best prepared, and whoever is best prepared, they now get access to a pool of funds that we've curated for them. Hey, I'm just
just throwing out ideas.
Throwing out some things.
It's interesting. Okay, but the vicious circle may come back, and we chat about this a lot. Some people may not want to be aligned to certain things
because
it may wreck relationships.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. But that's where we have to take our emotion out of it. We have to
let's say my three come up again.
So that's where the trauma comes. So this is what I'm saying. If we know we're doing internal Black elections, and for each riding, so there's going to be 338 of them, who are potential candidates in every single one. And then we find the most winnable ones. In that most winnable ones, there's 10 that we're going to select from. And the pool of money isn't a person choosing, oh, it should go to them. It is a collective. So it's not, we can't hurt people's feelings because it's a community choice. And then so that gets to now our organization. How do we organize ourselves to be able to vote on things? And sure, we could use that democratically, but we have to take emotion. I was like, oh, the liberals did me wrong, or the conservatives did me wrong, or NDP did me wrong. But getting that seat from a person that's going to represent the Black community is very important. But then if we went through all of that work, why not just create our own party and win 2 seats for
Oh,
ourselves?
you
I
know.
see the Green leader getting press and getting to talk on things. If we just had 1, 2, 3 seats from a Black political party, we now have a voice and we can push for that Black Minister of Black Affairs, and he'd be the best choice, or she would be the best choice.
Wouldn't it be interesting? And we got some people have some questions, so we'll get to them as pretty quick here. But wouldn't it be interesting if there was a Black Canadian party and they got 3 or 4 seats, and then there was a minority government, and that party was the swing?
I'm telling, hey,
I just thought
10
about
seats, just like the Bloc Québécois. They
Yeah.
look at them. They used to be like an afterthought, almost comical, and now they have political
power.
Weight, true political power.
It's interesting. You don't have to have you can be the minority, but the majority.
And maybe that's the way politics runs going forward. Maybe we don't want majorities anymore, where we want a minority party with certain checks and balances, but then we have to create our own check and balance, because right now it's the NDP and the Conservatives that can put things forward or block things.
All right, let's get back to comments here on a manic Monday this morning. As well as developing new Black political candidates, how do we hold on to current Black politicians like Greg Fergus, making sure he doesn't fall by the wayside? I think that we have to go. Great question. I think we have to give him support as much as possible, even when he may not be getting, and I'm only speculating here, that, well, again, maybe he doesn't want to be a minister. There's another, we don't know where he wants to be. We have to stay in touch with Greg Fergus or provide him support, even if it's sending him an email saying, hey, you're doing a great job, etc. He's reached out to me periodically, and we've had conversations. I'll leave that totally open, but we have to support our candidate, just like any Black Canadian person who has a, as we say, position of responsibility. As long as their behavior deems of it, we should be providing the support. Naturally, we should provide them the support in good times or bad times. And if they're not doing it right, we have to say, look, this is not right. So support in good times and in bad times, but be honest with it. So I agree that those who are there, we have to hold them up and hail them up wherever we can. And if we feel that they're not doing something right, we have to check them.
And that's where, like, when we do check them, we have to make sure, hopefully, that they don't get emotional about it, because a lot of times we become critical of things, and then
you've never experienced that, Ryan.
Oh, I'm not talking to that person anymore. We're very good at that. And so that's where we don't get better, because yes, we want Greg Fergus to be in that position. That is not debatable. But now we actually want him to be effective. So if he's not being effective, we have to have a channel of communication to voice how it could be better. And then if he is being, like, hey, like you said, we have to support that. It can't all just be critical, but some people play different roles. I'm not a person that'll play the role of, oh, amazing, you're like doing so great all the time. Like, listen, you have your chief of staff for that. What I look at is what is missing from the Black community that needs to be filled. Like, let's get to work on that.
All right. Another thing, Ryan, can you speak a bit on Marcus Garvey and how some of his approaches to funding and platform could be used politically?
I want to touch on something very interesting that I saw in the documentary that Roy T. Anderson had put together. On Marcus Garvey's death certificate, do you know what his occupation was that they put? Journalist. Marcus Garvey started in the printing press and created his own newspaper, multiple, like many of them. But when I started to reflect on the fact that, what does a journalist do? They look at the landscape and report back on the landscape. And then what he did beyond a journalist, it actually should have had many things in that box, but that was the only thing that they put. He filled those gaps. So he would see, like, oh, information isn't getting to the Black community. I'm going to create that mode of medium, that medium, yes, to get the information to my people. And the success that he had with that to unite like over 6 million Black diasporians across the world, that totally evaporated when he passed away. So now, like, to answer the question around what principles did he put in place that we need right now, is that form of communication. We do not have a strong way to communicate what's happening in the community and how to organize around specific things to fix. And that economics. He built businesses that would be able to hire in the community and then use that money to build more businesses and expand the network. And it all just started with information and communication. If we get really, and how do you win an election? Getting enough voters to know about you and want to vote for you. Communication and community. He did it best. And it bothers me that nobody has taken up that mantle. It's going on 100 years. Like, I mean, 30, it's been close to 100 years. I'll say, okay, over 70 years since the amazing work that he's done. And it's like being ignored in some way. A lot of people I hear call themselves Garveyites, but they don't implement the principles. And I would say, let's start from the foundation. That foundation of communicate. What is the best medium for us to communicate and organize our thoughts? Then we can go to that next level. But if the communication is not there, anybody that calls himself a Garveyite isn't even following the first principle that Garvey put in place, which was newsprint and information.
Well, hey, another thing that I've heard a lot. Black people got to control their media, control their education, and control their business. Support their businesses.
Just look at how we wake up in the morning. And for our house, CP24. You wake up, check the news, and then you're seeing news ticker going across and a person talking about current events. Is this difficult for us to create it for ourselves? I don't feel like it is, but for me, I'm like, where do we even like? I don't know where to start. But
just look, Ryan. I'll tell you what I just did. I just started. He just started.
That's where now we need to amplify what you're doing. There should be an option. Look at, we have FIVA TV, we have One Caribbean, we have Omni News. So channels that right now do not have Black perspective morning shows, which for me should be an automatic thing. Even I think G98.7, they were looking to create a TV station at one time. It didn't work out for whatever reason, but that would have been so important.
Just to hail up, and I know people will probably not watch us anymore after I say this, but for those people who know about Jay Martin, congratulations to Jay Martin. Now he's going to be he's got a new morning show with a co-host happening on G98.7. People, if you want to go listen to Jay and his co-host, fine. We still love you, but just support. So hail up to Jay Martin on getting that new post, and hopefully it will go on strong, which is another interesting fact that that's a whole other thing about Blacks and media and all that. Actually, I'll just put it out there. Denham Jolly, who bought and started the first Black radio station in this country, major station in this country. He has known me all my life. And actually, my dad and him have known each other since high school.
Gotcha. Nice.
They're still very, very close associates. And I was going to say, I visited him a while back with somebody. It was a very interesting conversation, but we'll just leave it at that. Let's go here to Christopher. We're going to start winding it down soon. Are there any business clusters in Toronto that you all know of that meet on an ongoing basis and talk about strategic business partnerships? Ryan, you may know that better than me. Isn't one of them yours?
Well, what we started doing with the ecosystem, so 30 Black focused business organizations is meeting at least once a month to talk about what we're all working on, if there's any gaps, and how to support each other and share resources. A specific focus, maybe like with BNI, like the business networking. I know they're trying to start like Black focused chapters. So that is one of the few things that I've heard of. And look at the BBPA. They have space downtown. Invite business owners there on a regular basis to talk about what is our next move. ACBN, we used to have like mastermind sessions here where we just invited business owners to say, what are your challenges? What are you working on? And how can we support you? And of course, it shifted virtual for a while, but we can get back to having those meetings. So they're happening on a very small level right now.
Interesting. Okay.
Back to the morning show. We need our own CP24. We need our own Your Morning. We need that. To me, might be the equivalent of what Garvey created, a thing that Black residents tune into to get their information that is not filtered through eyes that are not our own. Let's put it that way, to be nice about it.
Well, greetings, make it happen show. We're about ready to wind it down momentarily. But hey, as I said, if anyone's out there who wants to do some sponsorship of that, we already have the platform. So we don't have to drop a plan or anything. We're already doing it 2 days a week. And again, I put it out there as just a thought, and it seems that it has enough traction now that people are supporting it 2 days a week. And number of people say, hey, there's something special here. Got to do this, got to do that. Well, unfortunately, we live in a capitalist society. We need some bang, but I am pursuing potential opportunities for this to become a 5-day-a-week thing. I don't know if I can get Ryan 5 days a week, but we'll maybe have revolving hosts.
Cool. Yes,
each day of the week to come on. I will make the commitment. I don't need to be committed. I made the commitment to do this, and people should know enough. I've done over 3,000 of these, so I ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna jump off a dock somewhere. We're going to be all right. We're going to be good. And actually, I had a conversation up to last night with someone who can introduce me to a marketing powerhouse who can get me closer to people who are the decision makers, who are willing to take some bank and put some money into this. Now, we'll see what happens.
Excellent. It has to happen. If anything, after watching African Redemption, that needs to be created is that information through, and I would say a morning show to start with. And again, like infusing by Blacks into stuff like this. They already have a lot of content.
They're already digesting the content. It's just not from us.
Yeah. If we combine,
there's room for everybody out there, right? There's room for everybody, but I think collaborative efforts will get you faster to serving, at the end of the day, the big audience. Simple as that. So on that note, we're going to wind it down. Ryan, thanks for bringing up the topic. You are the media master these days.
And I am looking forward to seeing these things put in place. So what did we chat about today? Minister of Black Affairs. We said it here. It shall be done. Morning show, Monday to Friday, that competes with CP24. We said it here. It shall be done. I am looking forward to those two things.
And also setting up a legacy or future Black political leaders.
Yes.
It's very, very important. Now, Make It Happen show says there is Afro Global TV. Agreed, but people have to pay for it.
True.
It's a subscription-based service, and they don't. Now, okay, do they have a consistent web presence? That's the thing.
Do they have a morning show?
No, I don't. No.
I've never. Listen, Fever TV is there, Afro Global, and One Caribbean, but there's no consistent morning show
other than this one,
where you wake up and you can get information about current events.
Yeah, so
whatever is created should be syndicated across Afro Global, FIVA, and whoever exists.
I've started some conversations with someone potentially to increase the syndication of this content globally.
Love it.
So I'll leave it at that. So what's up for the rest of the week, Mr. Ryan?
Well, big shout out. This weekend we went to the Canadian Black owned marketplace, launched in your backyard, Pickering.
That's not my
So
backyard. That's East Coast. Go on.
that is just on the edge of your
I
backyard. You
didn't
can
even
see
know.
it from your back window.
Okay. How was it?
It was really good, really well attended. Shout out to Janice who's put it together. I believe she's also working on a Brampton location too.
What's the lady's name?
Janice, I don't recall her last name, sorry. But yeah, she's the founder of the Canadian Black owned marketplace.
Do you know her, yes or no?
Well, I met her at that event.
What's it called again? Canadian
Black owned marketplace. So they have a store right now in Pickering Town Center.
Pickering Town Center?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so all right. Yes, Pickering Towns. All right.
Nice. You see some pictures?
I am looking at the website right now.
Mm.
Lots of beauty stuff.
Here, pull it up. I can't see.
Hold on here. Lisa D. Testimonials. Very nice. I would make a suggestion to the website needs some work, but hey, it's okay. It's up. Work in progress. One of the things I would suggest to her is get video testimonials.
Very good. Yes. And I know they were capturing video content of each of the vendors, so they definitely have the content to be able to.
Yeah, if they could look at doing some video stuff and put it on their page again. And this is just a tip out there for anyone. Yes, testimonials are nice. You have someone's name on that, but video testimonials have much more power. They have much more power. And I'm just going to see Ryan is the boss, so I'm trying to pull up something here quickly before we let you go. All right, and Sophia has a comment. I'll get your comment in just a moment, Sophia. Let's put up Canadian Black-owned marketplace. Boom! There we go. So that's the website, Canadian Black-owned marketplace.ca. This is a look at their website. So folks, go check it out. Support it any way you can. I'm going to see if we can get the lady who is behind it.
And my apologies. It's actually Canada Black-owned marketplace. I thought it was Canadian.
Oh, so you made me put up the wrong information.
Hey, guys. You got to where you needed to go.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, that's true. So this is grand opening, Pickering Town Center.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, shoes, beauty products. So you went out to the store, Ryan. Just out of curiosity, was there anything there for Black men?
For Black men, if we don't count, I guess, the T-shirts and sweaters, there were beard oils that I saw.
Okay, good.
Caesar's Crown is in there.
That don't help me. Go on. All right. Okay, so we're just taking a
gourmet popcorn. That was tasty.
All right. So good. All right. So just a quick go through. We're just going quickly through the website in real time, but go check out the website, CanadaBlackOwned.ca. So we're doing that in real time, and we'll see if we can reach out to the lady behind it to come on and chat about it. All right. So let's get to some other things. Oh, someone named Cher Knight.
Yes. What's it? Oh, yes, she knows.
Janice, of course.
Her stuff, Afrocentric greeting cards, Ebony Occasions is in the store, so you can check it out.
So that's Janice Pancho. So thank you for that. I'm going to reach out to Janice today. Sophia says, reminds me how Roland Martin rolled out his own show and is winning, especially after TV1 canceled his morning show a few years ago. So yes, it can be done. Interesting. A lot of people have told me inside that what Roland really wants, he's doing all this stuff so he can get back on CNN again. He's dying to get back on CNN again, which he can do without. I'm pretty sure he can doing okay. Christopher says this is amazing. And Cher says, yes, a king's beard. Cher Knight, you got it going on. You tell us that there is a men's section on the right side when you walk in. What?
Okay,
do
excellent.
you have shares in this store, Cher Knight? Like, you just know every, like, are you going to be hosting the virtual tour of the store? They should do that for you.
On her Instagram, Cher did a walkthrough of the store.
Okay. So all right. So we got that going on. All right. That's it, because Ryan has a conversation like in a minute.
I do.
So you guys got to run. So as always, folks, thanks very much for catching us live on the replays. Appreciate it, not taken for granted. Follow us on whatever, these platforms. So myself, follow me on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and on Twitter. Ryan, you can follow him, ACBN on Facebook, ACBN on Twitch, and also his YouTube page. And that is that. And also check out the replays. And also the reason why we ask you to follow us, if you're up to it, is so you can get notified when we come on. Also, too, you can watch replays of the Morning Vibe at all the places that you're going to see scrolling around on from left to right to left, not right to left on the banner on the bottom. As always, I like to say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get stronger to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace. So Friday we have Roy McMillan. Correct, Ryan? One of the founders of Ray. Okay.
One of the co-founders of ACBN.
Yes, and also on scheduled next Monday, a week from today, Roger Dundas, one of the two fantastic people behind BuyBlacks.com, and he'll be live to launch our Black Restaurant Week, the Black Restaurant Week, Buy Blacks Black Restaurant Week, second one this year. Two this year, folks, not one, 2 time. All right, so no red flags.
True. Yes.
See you Friday, folks. Be well.